Hi, Dave here. So I'm back and I wanted to talk to you about the reason I actually got the 22 caliber pellets. Now you may have gone back, you may go back and see that I had did a video where I'd said Amazon sold me ammo. Well, the reason why I had bought those 22 pellets is because I had actually was looking at something that I was interested in and have been interested in for actually a really long time. And this isn't like Daisy or Crossman kids gun like you used to get the pump action ones. This is actually air rifle by a company called Gama, I think it is. I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, this one isn't loaded. It's currently there's no magazine. Yes, it takes magazines. And by the way, if you just heard that sound go down, the heater is actually cutting in and out. You may hear it throughout the video. But what I had got was a Gamo. I believe it is called a Swarm Whisper. Now, I believe they call it a swarm because it is considered a multi-shot. It takes something, takes a magazine, and it's a 10-shot magazine. However, you can shoot this, and here, I'll show you up close. It's a 10-shot magazine. Let's back off a little bit. You'll see this one's got 10 shots in it. And it holds 10 pellets. Now one does come with it. I purchased the second one just so I would have a second one. I'm like that. I like having a second magazine. But it's called the Swarm, I believe, because it's a multi-shot. Now, multi-shot doesn't mean semi-automatic. Not in this case. I believe in some cases it might with some air rifles, but not in this case. And it's also called a Whisper, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Because this thing, I would say, is probably louder than a 22 with regular loads, not supersonic loads of 22, but subsonic loads of 22. This with a 22 caliber pellet is capable of firing at 975 feet per second, I believe they advertise. I haven't tested that. I don't have testing equipment that can test that. But it seems pretty accurate. Now, this is what's called a gas piston pellet rifle. And it is a break action gas piston pellet rifle. The way to cock it and to charge it is you pull the barrel down and that charges the gas piston. A thing of note, when you do that, you can, if you don't have a magazine available or your magazine is broken, you can actually load the firearm from this position here. And you can actually load in a pellet directly into the barrel without the magazine. That is done through the top here. There we go. We'll give you a little better view like that. Through the top here, which is where the magazine goes. You can actually get to the barrel itself. Once you push it closed, it locks in place, and you're now ready to fire. The safety is here. Pushed back, it will not fire. Pushed forward, it will fire. If you have headphones on, prepare yourself. It is very loud. It can be fired without a magazine. In fact, there is on their site specifically says that if your magazine is not functioning, you can still function without it. I'm not going to cock it now, but the magazine feeds into it. Go ahead. Got to figure out the right way to do this now. There we go. Magazine sits in there like that. When you cock it, it automatically pushes. When you cock it and push it back, it automatically feeds a pellet into the barrel as if you had pushed it in manually. To take out the magazine, you would push down and lift it right out. It goes in very easily. I'm going to go ahead and put that over here so we don't accidentally load it. Now, I have fired this at a target. It seems pretty accurate, but then again, I haven't shot it in any long distance yet. It's only been very short distance, but it seems pretty consistent. Only my just not used to it shaking type thing has really been the factor in it. As far as what comes with it, it pretty much comes with a magazine, the rifle itself, the instructions, and this one came with this 4-power scope. I'm going to tell you, this 4-power scope is garbage. So the soon as I can, I'm going to replace this with a better one. I don't have one right now that I can put on here, but this scope is garbage. So I will be... Oh, I'm sorry. The scope that came with it is garbage. This is actually the sniper scope, the cheap one. I don't even know what I... There you go. That's the one that came with it. This one is total garbage. The glass is not very clear. It's not very good. So I put the cheap sniper scope on it. It's still a 4-power scope, same as that one, and it's still not. I still don't feel like this is a decent enough scope for it. What I would like to do is get a better scope and see how far I can get this to go. But that'll be down the line. I just wanted to kind of come on and talk about this and see how, and kind of give you my first impressions. Now, first impressions on it, it feels solid like a real rifle. And it is. It's a real rifle. It is a air propelled as opposed to a firing type rifle or firearm. When it comes to these things, the regulations are a bit different. So these can be shipped through the mail. You don't have to go through an FFL. It's not considered a firearm per se. However, if you do get one, check with your local laws, because there are some interesting laws out there regarding pellet rifles and where and how you can use them. Now, this could be used to hunt very small animals, squirrels, small rabbits, birds, things like that. However, once again, you have to check your local regulations. Sometimes they're not allowed. So, and where you are might not be allowed. In a lot of cases, though, I've seen and done as far as my area as well, this can be used in, say, like a residential area, as long as certain rules are followed and certain laws are followed. But check with your local laws as well, because a lot of local laws will prohibit the use of any rifle, including pellet rifles. So you need to be careful with what you're doing. Don't just go by state law. Don't just go by what you think is right. Do some research. And that doesn't mean watch a YouTube video and go, oh, that guy said I can do it. Read your local laws. Go and actually do some actual research. It's a novel thing these days. So, what is my first impression of this? It's very solid. It feels like an actual firearm. It is well put together. When you cock it, it is some force to cock it. It's not impossible, but there is some force to cock it. When you lock it back in place, you can feel it just really lock in place. There's no barrel travel. There's no barrel movement. The barrel itself is actually, if you look, is actually a floated barrel. It is not being held by anything except for here. So it does appear to lock in place quite nicely. And however, I'm going to tell you once again, I'm going to do this away from the microphone this time. That is loud. That is really giving my ears a little bit of a ring. I would say that I could actually make one of my 22 rifles, as single action as this is, I can make one of my 22 rifles have less sound. And that's just using like the Agula powderless, or even the pellets with the ramset charges, or CB longs. I would have to say is a lot less sound comparatively than this. The difference is the local regulations. You're going to have different regulations. Also, the thing to remember is pellets, very inexpensive right now. This tin cost me about 14 bucks. Let's see, the hollow point tin actually cost me about 13 bucks. I'm sorry, that was wrong. This was 14 bucks. This one actually came with the pellet gun. However, there were some problems getting it because they were sold out. People are buying these, melting them down, and using them for reloading. Whole nother thing. However, I'm going to tell you, the lead used in pellets is much softer than the lead used in bullets. So if you're doing this, be very cautious. Ooh. So a lot of dust out here. But in the end, I'm going to say that I'm not concerned with the purchase here. I think this was actually a pretty good purchase. I am going to try it out and give more feedback on it. And I do plan to take it and do some really short range shooting here in the yard just to see how accurate it is at like 20 yards, maybe 30 yards. And then if it is accurate at that, maybe put a better scope on it, get it sighted in at the 20, 30 yards, and then take it out maybe to an area where I can stretch it out further and see how well it'll work. Now, these you can't take to a shooting range, or most shooting ranges. I know that they don't allow them here. So you kind of have to figure out where you can shoot them. However, I think they have a place. And I find these very interesting in the aspect that there's literally no charge to them. It's just the air that you're pulling in using that cylinder. And the fact that bending the barrel down and popping it back in place, it goes right back in place. So it is the same alignment as it was before. That kind of stuff just blows my mind. But what do you think? Have you guys tried any of these things? This is, once again, I think the Gamo, Gamo, I think Swarm Whisper. And they have two models. They've got the 17 caliber and the 22 caliber. I got the 22. What do you think? Have you guys tried any of these things? Do you guys hunt with them? What do you hunt with them? And what is your perspective on sound? I think that they're kind of almost as loud as a 22. But what do you think? Go ahead and give me some feedback. Like, share, subscribe. And this is Dave. I'll see you next time.